Yo, what is going on, fellas? Wanted to go ahead and fully explain this concept of the Loop Blitz and how it now works so you can use it in whatever formation you guys choose to use, right? Basically, I'm going to do it at a 2-4-5 here, or nickel 2-4. It can be applied to damn near every formation in the game, as long as your defensive end is reasonably close to the offensive tackle. So let's go ahead and just walk you through it. I'm going to talk to you about this setup, and then I'm going to explain what actually triggers it and how you can replicate this in other formations. Because just because I personally like running dollar doesn't mean everybody does. I like running 1-4-6. Not everybody does. A lot of people like running 3-3-5 or 3-3 or, nickel normal. All of those concepts can still apply to this. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Now, I'm doing this at a 2-man under, and for the sake of this, I'm just going to do it out of a trip set, just because it'll make it easier for me to showcase everything. So what you'll notice about this game is you need your defensive end. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm pinching my entire team. What that does is it brings in this left of screen defensive end, and it puts them pretty much right on the outside hip of the offensive tackle. Now, this is good because this will allow us to set the contain easier, right? If he's farther out, basically it just becomes more difficult for me to blitz a player, put him on a contain to where the defensive end, in theory, should come in free. Now, with that being said, I'm in 2-man under here, right? So I've pinched everybody, and there's going to be 3 different people that we could theoretically blitz to get this, blitz to quote-unquote come in, or at least we would have been previously. So the first one everybody likes to do is they like to move the linebackers out, blitz them, put them in a contain, right? So you just move him out, put him on a contain, and you should, in theory, get the same type of loop blitz pressure. This is how it was done pre-patch. But what you'll see happen here is that the linebacker simply doesn't rush inward. So I'm going to go to the instant replay and walk you through this, because I think this is important when you start trying to transfer this concept over to any formation you want. Now, even though I have subbed in a safety in this 2-4-5, that's a safety, he's still classified as a linebacker for the purpose of how he blitzes. And you see how Ted Hendricks right here just rushes right around the edge. He doesn't try to come inward at all, and therefore he doesn't trick the offensive tackle, right, into letting the defensive end come in free. So you see with the linebacker, he'll just loop kind of around the edge, not ultimately causing much damage. So you may be thinking, well, what about blitzing this corner? Could you blitz the corner, move him in, maybe readjust, do something like this? Will this work? And now a corner blitz, you'll see, does not really work the same as well. Now, it can work if they don't bump into each other, but they bump into each other a lot. I'll put it that way. So same concept, right? So we got him in a contain. You see, I can't really back him off too much, right? So even though I can get the contain from farther out, right? So the contain's here, and there's a good yard or two in between him. You'll see they'll still bump into each other. So if I move him closer, in theory, could this work? And it kind of can, but you see, once again, not really working too much, right? So you may be thinking, well, what about, the safety, as I broke down in the last video? You bring the safety down, you do the same concept, right? So blitzing. Now you'll see right here, with the same exact concept, now you get the loop to come in. So what EA ultimately ended up doing is they just patched how the linebackers react and how the corners react. They did not touch the deep safeties. Now, I don't know if this was oversight, if this is the way it was meant to be, whatever the case may be, right? Like, who really knows what EA was trying to do with that? But as you can see, there's a drastic difference when you start using the linebacker, the corner, or the safety. All right, so now that we talked about how this works and basically how EA has patched it and how we can get around it, let's talk about the best way to do so. And I'm not going to go into full detail here because my boy Lights dropped an entire ebook out of the 4.6 playbook, so it's a very meta playbook on the website already. And it is going to be completely updated tomorrow, and he basically doesn't need to update much because of the fact that his blitz still works. Whereas most people's blitzes did not work, this one simply did not get touched. Now, the concept he uses is he comes out in a double safety go blitz, and he, of course, has a million different adjustments that he makes to take away all the meta stuff, but the blitz itself does not change. The way that I would go about doing this, just putting my own personal little spin on it, right, is I would come out in this. I would audible to, say, 2 man under or cover 4, whatever I wanted to audible to, and I would simply move the guys down, right? So you're moving these guys down, and whichever side you want to blitz off of. So say I want to blitz off the right, I would just blitz this safety over here on the right-hand side. I'd crash the defensive line down, QB contain. Then I would play on this linebacker on the left, right? So I'm essentially in a cover 2 shell. I could mix and match whatever I want to do. So say I wanted to put some zones out there. I'm not worried about the running back, or I want to manually play the running back. I could do something like that. But with this concept, I'm going to get the defensive end looping in right off the edge, just like I was pre-patch. So for those of you that are interested, once again, on the website, maddendaily.com, there's a 4-6 defensive ebook that is a crazy scheme where Lights breaks down, and I break down different things, but Lights broke down the dollar formation, which is pretty much all you need. Like, if you want to run the best defenses in the game, check out that 4-6 defensive ebook. And with that being said, hopefully you guys learned some stuff. If you guys want to see more educational content like this when it comes to Madden and not just tips and tricks, let me know what you guys want to see. If you want to see just, meta blitzes or meta schemes or off meta schemes, whatever it is, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you guys are feeling, and I will catch you guys in the next video.